The Supreme Court just dropped a bombshell. In a landmark decision, they have fundamentally altered the landscape of administrative law. They took a swing at something called the Chevron Doctrine, a principle that has been a cornerstone of how courts defer to administrative agencies' interpretations of ambiguous laws. Think of it like a rule book for how the government interprets laws. For decades, this doctrine has allowed agencies to fill in the gaps when Congress writes laws that are not entirely clear. Well, the Supreme Court just ripped a few pages out. This decision could reshape the balance of power between the judiciary and federal agencies. This is a big deal, folks. The implications are vast and could affect everything from environmental regulations to healthcare policies. It could change how all sorts of things work, especially when it comes to your rights as gun owners. So buckle up. This ruling could mean that courts will no longer automatically side with agencies on interpretations of laws that impact your Second Amendment rights. We're going to break down what this all means, why it matters, and how it might affect you. We'll dive into the history of the Chevron Doctrine, its role in past legal battles, and what this new ruling signifies for future cases. Get ready for some legal jargon, but don't worry, we'll keep it simple. We'll explain terms like judicial deference and statutory interpretation in plain English. This ain't law school, folks. We're here to make sure you understand how these changes could impact your daily life and your rights. This is about your rights. Whether it's your right to bear arms, your right to clean air and water, or your right to health care, this decision could have far-reaching consequences. Stay tuned as we unpack this monumental shift in the legal landscape. Way back in 1984, the Supreme Court decided a case called Chevron USA v. NRDC. This case might not sound like a big deal at first, but it has had a lasting impact on how laws are interpreted in the United States. The important thing is, it gave birth to the Chevron Doctrine. Basically, this doctrine said that when a law passed by Congress is a little fuzzy, federal agencies get to decide what it means. Think of it like this. Congress makes a cake, the law, but they forget to write down how much frosting to use. The Chevron Doctrine said the baker, the federal agency, gets to decide. Problem is, sometimes the baker goes a little frosting crazy, and sometimes that frosting is gun control. The Chevron Doctrine has been both praised and criticized over the years. Supporters argue that it allows experts in federal agencies to make informed decisions on complex issues that Congress might not fully understand. Critics, however, say it gives too much power to unelected officials, allowing them to make significant policy decisions without proper oversight. Over the years, the Chevron Doctrine has been applied to a wide range of issues from environmental regulations to healthcare policies. It has shaped the way federal agencies operate and how they implement laws. Recently, there has been a growing debate about whether the Chevron Doctrine should be revisited or even overturned. Some argue that it no longer fits the current political and legal landscape. Others believe it is still a necessary tool for effective governance. As the debate continues, one thing is clear. The Chevron Doctrine remains a pivotal part of American legal history, and its impact will be felt for years to come. Fast forward to today, and we've got a new case on our hands. This one involves fishing regulations, because wouldn't you know it, even fishermen have to deal with government bureaucracy. But the Supreme Court saw a chance to tackle the Chevron Doctrine head-on. And tackle it they did. The court basically said, hold on a minute, the power to interpret laws belongs to not the agencies. They didn't completely obliterate the Chevron Doctrine, but they gave it a good old-fashioned Supreme Court smackdown. Why does this matter for gun owners? Well, let me tell you. One word, ATF. You know, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. They're the ones who love writing those lengthy, confusing rules about guns. Well, the ATF has been relying on the Chevron Doctrine for ages to justify some pretty questionable interpretations of gun laws. With the Chevron Doctrine weakened, the ATF might have to actually, follow the law as written. No more making up their own rules as they go along. This could have huge implications for all sorts of gun control measures, from background checks to bans on certain types of firearms. Section 5. Good news for gun owners. Clearer rules, fairer play. This is a potential game changer for gun owners. By reining in the power of federal agencies, the Supreme Court is promoting clearer, more consistent interpretations of the law. No more bureaucratic mumbo-jumbo, no more ATF shenanigans. This means the rules governing your Second Amendment rights will hopefully be easier to understand and follow. And if the government tries to pull any fast ones, you'll have a stronger legal leg to stand on. It's all about fairness, folks. Section 6. A win for the little guy, power to the people. This ruling isn't just about guns, though. It's about the balance of power in our government. For too long, unelected bureaucrats have been able to make rules that affect our lives without any real accountability. The Supreme Court's decision is a step towards taking that power back and returning it to the people, where it belongs. It's a victory for the little guy, for the everyday American who's tired of being pushed around by the big bad government. Section 7. What's next? This section has been a focal point of intense debate and scrutiny, and its implications are far-reaching. The future of gun laws in America is a topic that continues to spark heated discussions across the nation. With each new ruling, the landscape of gun legislation shifts, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. So, what does the future hold? It's a question on everyone's mind, from lawmakers to everyday citizens. The answer, however, is complex and multifaceted. Well, it's still too early to say for sure. The legal system moves slowly, and the ramifications of recent decisions will take time to fully unfold. Judges, lawmakers, and activists are all playing a long game. The fight over gun rights is far from over, and the battle lines are drawn more clearly than ever. Both sides are gearing up for what promises to be a prolonged and contentious struggle. This ruling is just one battle in a much larger war. The Supreme Court's decisions set precedents that will influence countless other cases and legislative efforts, but it's a significant victory nonetheless, especially for those who advocate for stricter gun control measures. This win could embolden similar efforts across the country, and one that could have ripple effects for years to come. Legal scholars and analysts will be dissecting this decision for its broader implications on American jurisprudence. One thing's for certain: gun control groups aren't going to take this lying down. They are mobilizing, strategizing, and preparing for the next round of legal battles. Expect to see them challenging gun laws in court, bringing new cases that test the limits of this ruling and seek to carve out new legal ground. Hoping to find judges who will side with their interpretation, these groups are meticulously planning their next moves. Each case is a potential turning point. But with the Chevron Doctrine weakened, the legal landscape has shifted. This doctrine, which once provided deference to administrative agencies, is no longer the robust shield it used to be. They've got a much tougher uphill battle ahead of them. The weakening of the Chevron Doctrine means that courts may be less likely to uphold regulatory interpretations, making it harder for gun control measures to withstand judicial scrutiny. As the nation watches, the future of gun laws in America remains uncertain. What is clear, however, is that the debate is far from over, and the stakes have never been higher. The coming years will be pivotal in shaping the direction of gun legislation. Both sides are preparing for a series of legal showdowns that will define the contours of the Second Amendment for generations to come. As we look ahead, one thing is certain: the conversation around gun laws will continue to evolve, influenced by court rulings, public opinion, and legislative actions. The future is unwritten, but it will be shaped by the actions and decisions of today. Section 8. Stay informed, stay engaged. Your rights, your voice. This is where you come in, folks. Now more than ever, it's crucial for gun owners to stay informed about the legal battles affecting their rights. Read up on the issues, follow the news, and don't be afraid to make your voice heard. Contact your elected officials, support pro-gun organizations, and let the government know that you're paying attention and you're not going to back down from your Second Amendment rights. Remember, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Section 9. The importance of understanding legal developments. This whole Chevron Doctrine thing might seem complicated and even a bit boring, but it's important stuff. Understanding how legal precedents like this work is crucial for protecting your rights, not just as gun owners, but as American citizens. The more you know about the law and how it affects you, the better equipped you'll be to stand up for yourself and your freedoms. So, don't shy away from these legal battles, embrace them, educate yourself and become an advocate for your rights. Section 10. Wrapping it up. A more balanced approach? The Supreme Court's decision is a big deal, folks. It has the potential to shift the balance of power away from unelected bureaucrats and back towards the people and their elected representatives. Whether it's about gun control, environmental regulations, or any other issue, this ruling could usher in an era of clearer, more accountable governance. And that's something we can all get behind, right? Section 11. And now, for a shrimply delightful joke. Why did the shrimp refuse to share his treasure chest? Because he was a little shellfish. Get it? Alright folks, you've officially survived a deep dive into the Chevron Doctrine. Go forth and spread the knowledge.